There's a massive difference between an additional dwelling unit and ADU that looks good on paper but doesn't actually function properly in real life. I want you to take a minute and watch this video to see the top 5 issues that I see personally cause the most problems with potential investors and homeowners. Mistake number 1, having a single furnace for the entire home and a centralized AC unit. This applies specifically to ADUs, the dwellings within existing structures, not really detached ADUs because those are kind of standalone buildings, right? But this is the mistake I made on my first ever ADU when I did a basement ADU. I thought I was saving money. I thought I was smart. I was like, okay, I'm just going to modify some ductwork. I'm just going to shift the furnace over slightly just to make some more room for the floor plan in the basement. But what I didn't consider was the fact that no matter how much sound insulation I put in there with the Rockwell and the res channel, I could still hear voices at the end of the day coming through the vents. And I know there were also noise complaints back and forth too, where it just caused more headaches than you really want as a landlord, right? And this is, I think, the biggest one of all is the temperature differential. So let's say you have an old lady in your upstairs ADU. She wants it at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you got tenants below you who are really warm-blooded and they want to have it at 69 degrees. They're going to fight over that thermostat. You're not going to be able to have, you're not going to be able to make both of these people happy. What I should have done, and this would have saved me money because I actually ended up spending too much moving around the ductwork and the furnace in the first place, was just putting mini splits. So those are energy efficient. Normally, at least right now, the government has some grants available where you can actually get some money back for installing these things. And then the beauty of that as well is it's much easier to pass those costs off to the tenants. Point number 2, don't skimp out on soundproofing. Oftentimes this is something that's overlooked or people just do it wrong. By code, you're supposed to reduce the sound, and that's achieved by a couple things. And I don't want to get too in the weeds with this, but basically you have to use insulation to get not only your R value for the energy efficiency and the heat, but it also gives you a decibel value with Rockwell Safe and Sound, or there's other similar insulations, but use that one because it's nice and dense. People don't fill out the joist cavities or their walls enough, and then that also doesn't help deaden the sound. And then there's this stuff called res channel, a little piece of metal that goes on your ceiling that your drywall attaches to, and this helps isolate and separate your floors so that noise doesn't vibrate and transfer all the way through. And then the next part is that drywall itself is 5/8 thick Type X drywall. Type X is fire rated drywall. And that drywall, since it is thicker and denser, can stop sound. But occasionally what people will do is on their ceilings, they'll only do 1 layer of Type X drywall and get away with it. You want to go full 2 layers of Type X drywall. That little extra money, in my opinion, is worth it to cancel out the sound. But again, make sure, like point number 1, you don't nullify and negate all of that by having the same AC unit and furnace, because then all that work will be for not going through your vents. Point number 3, just forgetting to have enough storage. So tenants always have stuff and they need a place to put it. So unless you have storage lockers they can rent out separately to them, I suggest you look at your floor layout that an architect made for you or your contractor and find some of those dead zones in space, because there's always going to be some. I know I've encountered it before and you're like, hey, this just layout doesn't look very functional. So make sure you take a look at the layout, see where there's some dead space. Maybe you can put a closet there. Maybe you can even put some shelves underneath the stairs, put a closet there. Maybe you build out the cabinets a little bit deeper. Maybe you go 15-inch deep cabinets, or you make them floor to ceiling, or make them at least in the kitchen go to the ceiling, right? That'll just give you a little extra space for your tenants and they will greatly appreciate it, and it'll make your unit more desirable for them to actually get it rented. Number 4, trying to cram too much in to a micro unit. Specifically, adding a bedroom into a micro unit just doesn't really work for the flow and the layout of a tiny house.
What is this? A center for ants?
So with this, if you have something, in my opinion, anything below maybe 450 square feet, it's really tough to add a specific bedroom for the unit. So you're going to have to make something more like a studio apartment. And in my opinion, the market still demands that. You don't need to have a single bedroom unit to get it rented. A tenant will still live in this single studio apartment. Just get a Murphy bed that'll fold down. But just back to that point, if you think about it for the layout, if you had a bedroom and you're trying to cram it in, you're getting your living room, your kitchen, maybe some storage space, the bathroom, your laundry, and your mechanicals, like you're running out of space quick. You're gonna have to put some mechanicals in the ceiling probably. And I'm speaking more specifically for detached units. And it's gonna be like the narrowest friggin' hallway you've ever seen if you have even one. And you're gonna have a tiny kitchen. In my opinion, it just doesn't work very well. So consider talking to your architect and making it more of a studio apartment. But this is a caveat. And not to get in the weeds too much, there's so many ways you can go about this. If you can build higher though, let's say your main building is 2 stories, that 450 square foot can double to 900 square feet total in the home because you can go to a second floor. And then in that case, forget what I was saying. Of course, you can add bedrooms then. Number 5, using micro appliances. So if space is limited, I know you can't really fit as much, but you really can't just put a 2-burner little cook plate in an ADU, in my opinion. It's just not going to be very functional. It's going to be more like a short-term rental maybe. If that's your goal, sure, go for it. But if you're doing a long-term rental, you have to make sure that you actually have pieces of equipment, or not equipment, appliances that'll last. The cheaper, smaller appliances, I find they have more wear and tear on them and they break faster for some reason. If you get like a little beer fridge, that's not really functional either. If you get a very tiny, and I know you can buy them. I think you can get 16-inch wide dishwashers, but they barely fit any plates and cutlery in there in the first place. You're almost better off just not putting a dishwasher in and just having more cupboard space. So that's just something to consider, is buying normal apartment size appliances if you can afford to. Maybe in that studio apartment, maybe you do have to shrink certain things or go without. But I'd rather go without a dishwasher, for instance, than not have a normal size stove. And you definitely don't want a mini fridge. You want a normal size single fridge. So those are some of my common mistakes that I see people make, and the one I made myself with the HVAC. Did I miss any of them? Anything else you think is really critical that people often overlook? I'd love for you to drop it in the comments and let me know, because then I can add that to my list of things when I make other future ADUs as well. Again, if you're looking to build ADUs or you need some consulting, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. We build detached ADUs. We do ADUs within structures. Or if you, again, just want to pick my brain, happy to do that as well and point you in the right direction. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.